So a while back I was rear-ended by a car and it left a bunch of scuff marks, scratches, and paint transfer on the rear bumper of my car. I already went ahead and did the left side of the bumper, so most of the scratches, scuff marks, paint transfer is gone. They're still there, but for one, because the paint is white, it's a little bit harder to tell, and because I've compounded it, so now they're greatly reduced. But on the right hand side, the right side of the bumper, there's still plenty of scratches and scuff marks, paint transfer. They were identically the same on both sides, but I have done the left side, so that is the end result. I still need to polish it, so it'll look just a bit better. But overall, you can see there's a huge difference between the paint. So in terms of processes, so far I washed it just to see if first to remove any loose debris and dirt, and then I wiped it down to see if that would remove anything. It didn't. Then I stepped onto APC and a towel and I sprayed the APC directly to the affected areas to see if I can remove any type of paint transfer or scuff marks. It had very marginal effect on that, so it did work, but I'd have to stay there a very long time rubbing with a towel and APC, and even then I wouldn't get great results. So then I stepped up and I clayed it to see if that would do anything, which again, it did remove some paint transfer, some scuff marks, but not enough to get rid of the entire area. So the APC did work. It could probably keep on working on more areas, but you'll stay there longer. Results won't be as good. And same thing with the clay. It will remove some areas, but not as well. So the next step I'm gonna do is use a machine buffer to correct those scratches and scuff marks with a compound. Now, if you don't have a machine, you can easily use a towel of some sort, a rag, a microfiber towel to rub out with a rubbing compound. If you don't have a machine and you have scuff marks, you can go to your local auto parts store, buy some terry cloth towels, some microfiber towels, put some rubbing compound, rub it in, use quite a bit of force to get it out, and then wipe it off, and you should be good to go, depending on the severity of the hit or whatever you're trying to remove. But in this instance, I had the Griot's Garage 6-inch polisher with a microfiber cutting pad with M105 from Meguiar's. Like I mentioned, I already washed the area. I clayed it to remove any above surface contaminants. That way when I start compounding, the only thing I'm correcting, the only thing I'm buffing out are the actual scratch marks on the paint, and not getting any other contaminants or debris stuck in the pad, which may affect and cause more scratches or damage. So it's a clean surface, and I'm going to start compounding the other side. Now, before you get started, you do want to prime the pad. I already did so I'll do it very lightly this time. Where you just want to evenly spread the product around the pad just to make sure there's everything nice and lubricated on the pan with the product you're going to use. And once that's done, you'll just add a very small amount depending on the area you're going to work. I'll just put a nice little line like that. That's all I really need since it's such a small area. So first I'm going to work on this flat panel I have here, and then I'll move on over to this little hump I have right here. So I'm going to just tap it around, just kind of spread the product a little bit. Now with correcting, I'm using very slow arm speed. I'm not moving it left and right at 10 miles an hour. It's just very slow, giving it time to compound and work the compound into the affected areas. I'm using overlapping motions. I'm using a little bit of down pressure, but since it's not that bad of an area, I don't need to get too extreme with it. So I'm just let the machine, the product, and the pad do its work while I just let it glide over the paint surface. And after a few seconds or a minute or so, you'll inspect the area and see if you need to go at it again. But this isn't actually that bad, so one pass should do it. Next, I'll come back and just clean off the pad so that they pull off some type of gunk and residue. So just clean it up a bit to keep the pad nice and clean. Okay, with that in itself, there's a huge improvement in the bumper. Again, this is just a compounding phase. So this is where we're taking most of the heavy scratches and scuffs away. Because we are compounding, we did add a bit more of haze to it. You can't tell much because it's white paint, but we did add haze to it because now we added more micro scratches because of the compound. So we're gonna follow it up with a polish to refine those scratches. But before we do that, I have to work on the other small little hump that has a few scuff marks. Okay, now that I've compounded both sides, it's looking a lot better. Most of those scuff marks, scratches, paint transfer is gone. Now it's time to follow it up with a polish to refine those scratches that we did with the compound, and it's going to be looking great. And same thing with the polishing. Again, I'll have it at a slower speed than I did with the compound, moving in slow arm speed, just making sure I'm refining those scratches, those micro scratches that I put in with the compound, making it look a bit better to give it more of a pop. Make sure I flatten out the surface with those scratches, and we're good to go. So that wraps up this video. I washed, clayed, compound, and polished to remove most of those scratches, those scuff marks, and that paint transfer that was left from that rear end hit. Now, if you don't have all these products, tools, again, you could probably visit your local auto parts store and most likely find everything you need, which is just maybe a clay bar and a rubbing compound with a towel to get it off. It'll be the exact same process, just use it manually with your hand and a little bit of elbow grease. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below, thumbs up this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you on the next one.